Subscribe. MTL World at Middle World 1 YouTube channel. Swallowed Star 2 Origin Continent. Chapter 265 500 Years. 44th of Volume 6. In the high tower of the city lord's mansion in Huyang City. Luo Feng drank alone. 9 Rivers, Zhuhei, Holy Realm. Luo Feng murmured. This gathering of the YanFeng ancestor, Di Qing, and Luo Feng revealed a lot of intelligence. As long as one reaches the ultimate life form, they can pass through the origin continent's teleportation portal, usually arriving at a random destination. Unless the exact coordinates are determined during the teleportation. The world where Di Qing resides is called the 9 Rivers Holy Realm, where numerous powerful beings from various origin worlds and countless powerful beings from myriad worlds have gathered. Di Qing is in the 9 Rivers Holy Realm. Those who are qualified to come here, even the weakest, possess ultimate realm life forms. The high ones can reach the semi-Xuanhuan level. The YanFeng ancestor and the Thunder ancestor are just slightly stronger than the threshold level of power. In the Dark Holy Realm, there are various resources that are much more abundant than in the 9 Rivers Sacred Realm. Luo Feng is too far from the so-called threshold of the Dark World. Generally, only those who have reached the late stage of the God Emperor can hope to enter. Whether it's the 9 Rivers Holy Realm, the Dark Sacred Realm, or some other places, it was all Senior Yuan and the others who nurtured us weaklings. Luo Feng also understands this. Without the Star Tower and the Eye of Life and Death, my strength is still a bit too weak. Luo Feng's Eye of Life and Death at the center of his brow opened, gazing far into the direction of the dream domain. Except for the infinite space that is not in the origin continent, Luo Feng can spy on other precious lands. Under the observation of the Eye of Life and Death, it swiftly passed through layers of spatial obstacles and saw the dark zone at the core layer. The dark area could originally only be perceived by the spiritual consciousness. However, the Eye of Life and Death could see it just as clearly. Dark area, there is only one space. Luo Feng looked. The entire dream realm is like a gigantic sphere, filled with countless bubbles, each bubble being an independent space. The outermost dream realm has the most spaces, the middle layer has significantly fewer, the deeper spaces are even fewer, and the innermost dark area has only one. This space is incredibly stable. The earth is forged from black metal, inscribed with secret patterns. The trees grow entwined with countless metals. The weakest creatures here are at the emperor, monarch level. The powerful ones even touched the upper limit of the origin continent. Their mutual conflicts and movements made Luo Feng's expression change slightly. Even I can't bring the Eye of Life and Death and the Star Tower inside. Luo Feng understood this point. Although the strongest dream domain creatures in the dark zone have their power limited. But in some areas, there are too many dream domain creatures. Under the observation of the Eye of Life and Death, one could see an area where hundreds of serpentine creatures had gathered. Each of these serpentine creatures was playing with each other, and the commotion was enough to touch the power limit of the origin continent. If several hundred snake-like creatures are surrounding me and attacking, just like being besieged by hundreds of Emperor chains. Luo Feng thought to himself. Even if I hide inside the Star Tower, I would still be completely trapped and will never be able to escape. The power of the Star Tower is also restricted. How many can one person hit? How to fight? Even if the YanFeng ancestor or the Thunder ancestor came, it would be useless. These are quite a lot of special life remains. Luo Feng's Eye of Life and Death observed him at a glance. At a glance, he saw countless of them, scattered everywhere. Or perhaps deep in the river, lie hundreds of thousands of bones, scales, and pieces of flesh. Deep in the mountains, some things are also hidden. There is just one common point, both need to be explored with a considerable distance in dark areas. My Eye of Life and Death can only see the appearance of these special life remains, unable to glimpse their inner essence. Luo Feng frowned. I find it difficult to determine their exact value. Using the Eye of Life and Death myself might rival the observational abilities of an ordinary high-level Xuanhuan life. However, seeing through the essence of the special life remains at a glance is simply impossible. I can only take one piece, and after I get it, I will be expelled and never be able to enter again. Luo Feng pondered. His Eye of Life and Death observed carefully. The source of river, the great mountain, the underground, the jungle. Various corpse materials are compared one by one. This one looks unusual. Luo Feng finally focused on a piece of material. It was a dark golden sharp horn. This dark golden sharp horn was deep within the underground labyrinth, where hundreds of creatures resembling centipedes like creatures were lurking. These creatures then surrounded this golden horn, seemingly in great reverence or worship for it. My Eye of Life and Death observes the entire dark area of the dream domain. This is the only piece of horned material, and the creatures guarding it are also quite powerful. Luo Feng thought. This is it. An incredibly terrifying life. If it had a horn, it could be a unicorn. This unicorn must be of great use. Let's look at the Tianzhu realm. Luo Feng turned his head, and the Eye of Life and Death carefully observed the depths of the entire Tianzhu realm. In the depths of the Tianzhu realm, the most conspicuous thing is a winding river of dirty blood. This polluted blood river, if even a second realm god king gets contaminated by it, they will die immediately, and even their external clones will die from soul contamination. Moreover, there are vast bone mountains, with countless gaps within them, resembling a maze. There are also a large number of lush plants, which grow in the blood river and also within the bone mountain, rooting deep into the ground. Dream realm, I can see through it at a glance. On the contrary, in the Tianzhu realm, about 10 or 20% of the area is unclear. I can't see clearly in the blood river, and I can only see the surface of Bone Mountain. In the deepest part, it's unclear, even in the depths of the earth, it's unclear. Luo Feng gently shook his head. The dirty blood river should be formed by the blood pollution of world-class Xuanhuan life. Luo Feng was somewhat certain. The dirty blood that even his own life and death I couldn't see through was definitely not the blood of the life within the cage. I heard that within the blood river, the Bone Mountain, and the depths of the earth, it is easy to find innate treasures. Luo Feng laughed. However, it was a bit strange, whether in the dream domain or the Tianzhu realm, Luo Feng had not seen any innate treasures. The natural treasure seems to be well hidden, as for the remains of special life. Luo Feng looked at the Tianzhu realm. Everywhere is debris, the entire blood river is filled with debris, those mountains of bones are all debris. Luo Feng realized this, but he didn't have the ability to take them away. Just by looking at them, he knew how heavy they were and how terrifying their pressure was. That's the one. Luo Feng carefully examined the vast amount of wreckage deep within the Tianzhu realm and finally chose a location. According to the Eye of Life and Death, there are a total of 389 flashes. In the central bone mountain, there is a long black bone, which is divided into segments. These 9 black bones, I should be able to take one. Luo Feng thought. Although the Tianzhu realm is guarded by the royal families of 2 nations, they still do not dare to stop the Lord of the Galaxy. Luo Feng sent out a powerful clone, which possessed the strength of a god emperor with just its physical body. It forcefully made its way deep into the Bone Mountain range. Although the pressure was increasing, it still remained within the upper limit of the origin continent. Luo Feng walked to the very core, entering the depths of the Bone Mountain, gazing at the towering 9 sections of black bones. The 9-segment black bone exudes a terrifying aura. As soon as Luo Feng touched it, an invisible message was transmitted. He could only take one piece, and once taken, he would not be able to take any more special life remains. Buzz. When Luo Feng moved it, he felt it was incredibly heavy, and then he stored it in his personal God Emperor level treasure, the dripping water flying boat, which entered his body. The special life remains of the Tianzhu realm are relatively easy to obtain with Luo Feng's strength. However, the dark golden horn in the dream domain is very difficult to acquire. Luo Feng tried hundreds of times, and each time he failed. Fortunately, his clone has strong vitality, and after hundreds of attempts, the energy loss is not too significant. With the Eye of Life and Death providing remote assistance, I still failed. Luo Feng could only temporarily set it aside for over 200 years later. With the combination of the 3-door 9-branch fusion secret technique of the Tao of Life and Death, Luo Feng unleashed multiple clones simultaneously. With the help of the Eye of Life and Death for remote observation, relying on drawing the tiger away from the mountain and desperately restraining it back, he finally obtained the dark golden sharp horn. Since then, the 2 most important treasures generally available to the god emperors of the origin continent, the special life form remains, have been acquired. These 2 treasures are indeed extraordinary. Luo Feng observed with the Eye of Life and Death. The black bone segment with the 1 horn itself contains endless mysteries. Although it is slightly inferior to the Eye of Life and Death, it is still of the same level and is simpler and purer. This horn, who would have thought they contained the mysteries of the soul and will? Luo Feng was somewhat amazed. The secret patterns within the horn, the will of the mind actually occupies the mainstream. This black bone has the mystery of being indestructible. Luo Feng examined the composition of the black bone, wondering how the growth of life could be so indestructible. Luo Feng was immersed in his cultivation, and the origin continent had also returned to peace. Under the joint command of the Lord of the Galaxy, the ancestor of YanFeng Ancient Kingdom, and the ancestor of Thunder Ancient Kingdom, the entire origin continent has become inhospitable for the great sinners. Even if there are lucky ones, cautiously and secretly devouring some tribes to aid their own cultivation, they will still be frightened. Because the group of inspectors led by Morosa might find out his whereabouts at any time. Unknowingly, 500 years have passed since the gambling battle between Luo Feng and the Thunder Ancestor. The YanFeng Ancient Kingdom, within a vast expanse of space. 11 thoughts converged, transforming into the figures of 11 emperors. The Luo he guessed elder has been guarding the Tianzhu realm for a millennium thousand years. Di Yan said. It's time for him to leave. The Tianzhu realm guarding task cannot be taken consecutively by any guest elder. Guarding the Tianzhu realm is a coveted task that all the guest elders dream of. Di Yan and the others usually use it to reward obedient guest elders, so they are naturally unhappy that Luo He has occupied it for over 1,000 years. A guest elder who doesn't understand respect and hierarchy, yet was allowed to guard for over 1,000 years. Di Wu's expression was icy, she had personally threatened Luo He back then. Forcing Luo He to take on another task, in the end, Emperor Chu finally protected his disciple. Di Chu had a blood feud with her, so naturally, she is also full of hostility towards Luo He. Since the term has expired, it naturally needs to be replaced. Di Chu glanced at Di Wu, showing no concern whatsoever. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe. MTL World at Middle World 1 YouTube channel.